Guys, this is my first time watching Love Island, and what the actual fuck?
That's my opinion!
Okay, before anybody starts yelling at me, again, this is my first time watching Love Island, which, if anything, I feel like makes me more qualified because I am simultaneously doing a watch of season 6, which is the first season I remember Love Island becoming culturally prominent in the US at least. It's the season with Leah and Serena. So almost every night I am sitting down and I am really analyzing these fucking psychopaths in this villa. And I feel like I'm watching one season where the men actually seem interested in the woman, and another season where the men seem interested in being chosen by the woman, but they're not actually interested in the woman. If anything, they're interested in each other, and y'all can guess which is which. The difference is insane, and I think it's because season 8 is the first season to really confront the Gen Z red pill problem. I think that's what it is, because the entire villa feels like a bunch of men who have spent the last 5 years listening to podcasts about female nature and high value women and maintaining frame and whatever other fucking buzzwords people like Andrew Tate are using when they're scared of hot girls. But every single man on this island wants to be pursued like he's the princess. And I'm being so dead ass. Like, I feel like they're just waiting around, waiting to get picked and waiting to get chosen by a beautiful woman. And they're acting like all of these women should be doing a little dance to prove themselves that they're, like, worthy of these men. Like, mind you, none of these men have fucking jobs. One of them is, what the fuck did they call him? Unprofessional midwife? What the fuck does that even mean? What happened to flirting? What happened to seeing a woman that you like and that you think is beautiful and going after her? You know, everybody's acting like they're on The Bachelorette. And I think the biggest example of this is everything that happened with Soul. The way Soul got treated in that villa pissed me the fuck off. I spent all season waiting for her to do something horrible because honestly, like, I was like, this girl's gonna crash out. But she was so level-headed. Soul is probably the most beautiful woman that has ever come across my TV screen. She was such a baddie. She's a cool girl with a cool job and a cool personality. And the way that everybody talked about her, I mean, I thought as soon as she came in, she was going to steal everybody's boyfriend, you know, or like she had kicked a fucking puppy the way that they were treating her on this goddamn show. But she didn't do anything. She didn't do anything wrong. She was just confident and pretty. And she got there early. She got there, episode 5, got voted off episode 14. So it's not like she didn't really give it a go. And that's what drives me absolutely fucking insane. Like, she was participating and they still fucking villainized her. And I think the reason why is actually very simple, because women like Soul don't chase. Not because they're arrogant or anything or because they're a bitch, but because women like Soul don't have to chase. Think about it this way. If you've spent your entire life being beautiful and desirable and successful and charismatic, eventually, you know, you're gonna stop treating dating and going on first dates like job interviews. You know your value, you know what you bring to the table, and you don't need to convince people of that. And instead of these men seeing that and then like rising to meet it and going and pursuing her, they wanted to humble her. And that's what this entire fucking season feels like. A bunch of these loser ass men trying to humble these women, and not because the women deserve it. It's because the women intimidate them. The way people talked about Soul was so insane and dishonest. Obviously, nobody wants to be the bad guy. You know, nobody wants to be the villain. And when you're on a reality TV show, you don't really get to choose what way the producers are going to choose to show you to the world. But instead, everybody was smiling to her face and saying these things to her face and then acting completely different behind her back. Fucking Insincere lied to her face like 8 times in a row. And now, you know, we get to the pie contest and suddenly she's not supportive. She's difficult. She's not a girl's girl. And I know for a fact they pied her way more times than what was shown in the show, but it was so transparent to me because if she was less attractive and less confident, nobody would have fucking cared. Nobody would have fucking cared. And that's where you get a girl like Melanie entering the picture. And I really feel bad saying this because I don't like speaking down on women. However, men like the men on Love Island, and honestly, like 99% of the men I meet in my day-to-day or in my dating life, they all seem drawn towards a type of woman that can make them feel safe. You know, they're not challenged. A woman that they think they can easily impress. Women that need their validation. And even that doesn't really work. So they resort to lying. And a woman like Melanie, for instance, is so insecure within themselves. Most of the time, they'll just accept it. But the minute Melanie started standing up for herself, Insincere lied to her fucking face. Straight up on national television. There's no debate about that. He went to Melanie and said, I don't give a fuck about Soul. She doesn't mean anything to me. And then was like giggling and kicking his feet and blushing as soon as he was in the speakeasy. It's like the second that these women stop performing like insecurity, the men don't know what to do. They get mad. You know, they feel challenged. They feel emasculated. And maybe that's why this season is so fucking insane. I feel like I see a lot of stuff online that everybody's saying that everybody is closed off way too early. And I agree. They're insanely closed off. There was no room for Soul or Jen, honestly, to infiltrate any of these couples. Jen and Gabrielle would not have been together at all if Beatrice had not been sent home. But let's be serious here. These people have known each other for what? 2 fucking weeks? I feel like there is a push for the girls in the villa to feel like they need to close off and lock down their man now because they know what's coming. They know that there's bombshells coming. There's Casa Amor coming. There's competition. And competition is so terrifying if your confidence isn't real. Because once a confident and successful and beautiful woman like Soul walks in and she knows that she's hot and she doesn't need validation from anyone, suddenly you have to compete and your personality matters, your charisma matters, and you can't hide inside a safe connection anymore. And I think the men know that too. I genuinely think some of them know that they would never pull women like this in real life. And instead of rising to that occasion and taking that opportunity, they maybe subconsciously, maybe consciously, but they resent it. You know, they're trying to humble it and punish it. Because when a secure man sees a beautiful woman, he gets excited. When an insecure man sees a beautiful woman, he gets defensive. And that's the energy that this season is giving me. Because again, like, none of these men have jobs. And maybe it's me being a bitch, but I feel like confidence usually comes from building something within yourself, like accomplishing difficult things or growing your competence and mastery. And when you don't have that and you don't think you're capable of it, you start getting your confidence from really weird places, like controlling women and the women that you are dating. And if the women that you date need constant validation and making sure everybody sees you as a good guy. And I think we're seeing that a lot with Zach and Miss Kayda. I know everybody is obsessed with Zach and Kayda. Like, I'm aware everybody thinks they're adorable. Everybody thinks the hideaway was so cute. But I watched the same episode and I feel like I came away with a completely different conclusion. I don't think the hideaway went well. I don't think it changed their relationship in the way people think it did. I think Zach got what he wanted physically, and now the emotional intimacy part is freaking him out because all of a sudden this isn't a game anymore. Like, now it's real and there's expectations and you've had sex. And more than anything, I don't think the sex was good. We hear very small bits and pieces while they're recapping the night to like the girls and the guys in the villa. And Kayda says that they only had sex one time. And I don't know if any of you have ever been in a relationship where you're having sex together for the first time and it goes well. You continue having sex, especially when you're spending the whole night together. Like, we're not going anywhere. We got time to kill. You will keep having great sex with each other. I don't think it was very good. I don't think Kayda finished, is the main thing. Again, this is all just my speculation, but as a woman who has orgasmed and has made other women orgasm and has had friends who have orgasmed, the way she was talking about the night and her experience with the rest of the girls just didn't make me think that she finished and that it was good sex. I think it was fine, maybe mediocre at best, but I don't think there was a lot of emotional connection. And now there's expectations and like emotional responsibility. And I don't know if Zach wants any of that from Kayda. He got super fucking weird when they got back from the hideaway. And I think Casa Amor is going to expose him. I think he's going to cheat immediately in Casa Amor. And I would love to be wrong. I would. But every time he talks to Kayda, I feel like I'm watching him try to convince himself. Like he's very clearly going through this internal battle of resenting her and resenting how much he likes her and how vulnerable he craves to be with her. But he's got that block where he just can't do it. So he's gonna self-sabotage and he's gonna fuck up their entire relationship. And if Casa Amor drops a bunch of gorgeous women in his lap, I think we're going to learn very quickly about how quote unquote strong their connection is. And I don't think it has anything to do with Kayda. I don't even think it has anything to do with the way Zach feels about Kayda. I think Zach is just gonna be in his own way. He's just gonna freak the fuck out and shut down, and he's not gonna want to be with her. And maybe it's because he's in love with Bryce. I know y'all are seeing what I'm seeing. It's like fucking heated rivalry up in this bitch. They know it's legal, right? Like somebody's told Zach and Bryce. I don't know. I've been pitching for the last few weeks. I want to see next season of Love Island be Love Byland, where every single islander is bisexual, so anybody can come for anybody's bitch. I think that'd be super fun, and I wish they had saved Zach and Bryce for that season so that they could be happily in love with each other. Anyway, I hope I'm wrong about Zach and Kayda. For Kayda's sake, I hope I'm wrong. But I don't trust him. I feel like I've met plenty of men like him before. I feel like I've dated men like him before. I've seen this film before. Yeah, and honestly, all of this comes back to my main problem with the season. Dating shows only work when people are willing to pursue, you know, when they are open to dating and being in a serious relationship. They only work when people are willing to risk rejection and be vulnerable. But none of the men in Love Island seem interested in doing any of those things right now. They just want to have full control over a beautiful woman and to make sure that nobody sees them as the bad guy, which ironically is exactly how you become the bad guy. And you know, shows like Summer House can survive the red pill theory, or Real Housewives, because those shows are about chaos. But Love Island at its core is supposed to be about people finding love. And if every season just becomes a bunch of emotionally constipated podcast bros trying to protect their image while beautiful women are like sobbing and begging them to be honest, eventually the show isn't about love anymore. It's just a strategy game, and strategy games are only fun if they're Survivor. Anyway, I guess my main point is that Soul deserved so much better. Casa Amor is about to expose literally everybody. And if Zach and Kayda survive Casa Amor, I will personally come back to this podcast and apologize, but I don't think I'm gonna have to.